Again, thank you for joining us today for our webinar titled AI Transformation for Your Fintech Organization. My name is Saurabh Kumar, and I am on the marketing team here at H2O.ai. I'd love to start off by introducing our speaker for the day, Mr. Sai Ram Vardarajan. Sai, as we call him, is a customer data scientist at H2O.ai. He has more than 8 years of experience in data science and machine learning field in developing and deploying machine learning models across various industries. Before I hand it over to Sai, I'd like to go over the following housekeeping items. Please feel free to send us your questions throughout the session via the questions tab in your console. We will be happy to answer them towards the end of the session. Number 2, this presentation is being recorded. A copy of the recording and slide deck will be available after the presentation is over. Without further ado, I'd now like to hand it over to Sai.
Thanks, Saurabh. And it's a wonderful day. And like being with H2O, one of the things which I want to like emphasize is like reaching out to the community. As we are like helping AI, like building machine learning models and like AI and empowerment through the community. And like one of the main like ways where we communicate is through webinar. And thanks to Saurabh on coordinating it for the APAC region. Let's get it started. Like, so one of the discussions which the discussions which we're gonna have today is like about fintech, specifically about like what would be the opportunities and chances where we could kind of like do an AI transformation. It would be a more generic one, and just looking at the culture, like how we could kind of like look forward for the transformation, discussing about the use cases would be our like topic of discussion for today. But either or, if you kind of like find something where one of the slide deck which we were kind of discussing, if you kind of have questions, please post it. I'll kind of like try to keep a tab on questions tab. But either or, if I couldn't answer, I would be happy to like reply to you through LinkedIn or even like through our community.h2o.ai. So that's how it's going to be for the next 1 hour. Looking forward to your engagement as well through the GoToWebinar platform. So to give a little bit of H2O's progress through for the last like 8 years, 9 years, I could say, we are an open source community, like open source driven community company, where we do have like 20 plus experts as a Kaggle grandmasters, like starting with it, and like actually more than Kaggle grandmasters. When I kind of like came into the company, like one of the biggest emphasis which I could kind of like have is for the engineering team, where like you could kind of like deploy a like Java module using the open source or through like enterprise solutions like driverless AI. It would be fun to discuss about it. Let's do that in the upcoming slides. And like more than that, we do kind of like connect with 1,000 universities and like 20,000 plus companies do use H2O open source, and like 200,000 meetup members are there with regard to like our open source. So that's our snapshot. And like we are kind of like having investors for Goldman Sachs through Wells Fargo, Nvidia, and like we would be in a position to like have discuss about the open source solutions as well as the driverless AI, as well as one of the AI platform like for building apps. It would be we would be in a position to discuss about it. Let's look forward to that. And like as like our presence, like our physical presence are like more on the Mountain View. That's where that's our headquarters are. And like we do have like presence in New York, London, Ottawa, Prague, Chennai, Singapore as well. And like I wouldn't be surprised like in Australia, like we do have like people working from throughout the globe. And so like the taking like how we are empowering like our companies or people, business, how is our impact for this impact of the social. It would be, this is like just a snapshot. So what I mean by that is like let's start with people where we are like giving out like cutting edge AI solutions through H2O3 platform, where we would be in a position to like try auto ML, like where even yesterday I was discussing with a couple of data analysts where they are kind of like they were in a position to like deliver Java module or like R Python module to like one of the good AutoML solutions without kind of like knowing the nitty-gritties of ML techniques. So this is how we are empowering, like, the open sourcing, like solutions through H2O3 platform, sparkling water, data table, and we do have solutions like Pi data table. So those are the solutions. It would be good to like check out our GitHub repo or through H2O.ai website. That would be one of the way where we are kind of like democratizing AI, which I kind of like say. And from the business perspective, like we do have solutions for like driverless AI, one of our flagship product, and like the other new product, which is like H2OQ, where we could kind of deliver AI apps. So, and with that, where the companies would be in a position to like transform their business through driverless AI, like delivering like one of the best cattle grandmaster level models, machine learning models, which they could kind of like deliver within 2 hours of time, and thereby we do kind of like guide them through our customer success, through our engagements, where we would be in a position to like see their use cases, bring the use cases, like enlighten them. What would be the good way where we could kind of like engage. So like the engagement is like more of like we are kind of like guiding them through the AI transformation. That's for the business. From the business perspective, which I could kind of like highlight. And the third one is like definitely like how the impact and social, like so if for universities, I mean like open source, you do see good amount of like articles like getting published through H2O3, but more than that, our enterprise solutions are like open source for universities. Our enterprise solutions are open source for like any of the wildlife conservations, or like where it would be having a good socio-economic impact for the community. That would be the good way where we are kind of like trying to get back, trying to bring give back to the society. That's one of the like the main ways where I haven't seen like any of the other prior companies where I had worked or I had discussed, where having good amount of like time and effort to bring an impact through AI. So that's giving a little bit of picture how we are kind of engaging with the communities through business, through people, through individual people, through machine learning toolkits, and definitely like for the socioeconomic empowerment. And definitely like the one of the curiosity is like what do we mean by like with respect to these transformations. But let me kind of like give one of the quick thing is like, okay, building models is kind of like this is where most of the discussions are, but operationalizing it, having a good data engineering back with regard to these machine learning models, and like having giving a good stabilized like standardized solution is where HUO AI so like platforms are more like appreciated and helped. And definitely like more than that, like with regard to where it could kind of address a lot of use cases, like starting from the business vertical, like starting from the fintech vertical to the healthcare solutions, or even through the manufacturing, where this like platform would be totally helpful in like bringing a good transformation through the data, or whatever the problems which we had got. It is more of a generic solution which we have got a chance to build and like help you to deliver those ML solutions to your vertical. So having that one, like operationalizing, that is where the operationalizing is kind of like the key. So you could kind of like see where right from the start, from the like the community point of view, where you kind of like have H2O3 platform which is having a good JVM backend. You can kind of like have a Mojo, deployable Mojo at the end of the day, and which is kind of like where it is more scalable, would be the solution which I could kind of like emphasize here. And likewise, even if you kind of like go to driverless AI, that is a 2023 trial where we are kind of like having a good emphasis for Autodoc reports. It kind of like creates, I'll kind of like when time permits, we'll kind of go through the demo for driverless AI, where we would be in a position to like see how the Autodoc, like the report it kind of generates, which is more crisp and clear. It kind of helps you for operationalizing more models. So likewise, so those will be the discussions, and that is where H2O's like platform kind of like brings the difference, which I could kind of like think about. And so like this is like more of a generic discussion, like how AI is kind of like transforming the entire enterprise. Like is definitely like I mean like we are kind of like having good amount of activities today, and it's more of because of the emphasis like nudging towards these solutions, and it is kind of like delivering good amount of contributing and delivering good amount of like excellence to the company, to the whole operationalizing of like your like your exercise would be the way. And this is more of the one of the takeaways which we had seen is like it's not about the challenges from the AI perspective. It's more of the cultural perspective, which I could kind of think of. Why? What I mean by that is like as the I mean like the good example is like as the the company is getting bigger, like the solutions of AI is kind of like our delivering solutions is kind of like it's taking a little of more time than the agile like smaller companies. It's because so that is one of the scale which I could kind of like say for like why AI is more of an emotional quotient than the intelligent quotient, which is like where we have good amount of like architecture, good amount of like techniques where we could deliver good AI solutions. And definitely like it's always starts with the data and like the AI solutions which we could kind of like bring upon, and the people what it mean by like the culture is like that is the those are the three things which kind of like leads to the transformations in your in your business. So to give a little bit of like background, I mean I mean like one of the stories which still enthrall me is like how back in the World War II, where for detecting how many what is the manufacturing capability of the like for manufacturing, like I think M10 like think so where statistics was kind of like deployed, where it was very helpful in predicting how many how many like what is their manufacturing capability, just taking out the serial numbers of the one where the other forces had kind of like like destroyed, and taking I mean like right from the statistics and math and deploying for the real-time applications did start from 1950s. And definitely if you kind of like look at the 1980s, like multi-layer perceptron, I mean even if you kind of like search for multi-layer perceptron advertisement in microwave oven, they do kind of like have MLP techniques as one of their key features, which is kind of like embedded in the microwave oven back in the 80s, which you could kind of like think of like where AI research is like still it was conceptualized, and by 2000ish, where you could kind of like that is where the whole thanks to the Moore's law, where the number of transistors and like the computing capability kind of like there was a good boom, and that is where most of the thoughts concepts which they had got a chance to like conceptualize did get a chance to like try out, and like that is where the 2000 and you could see the explosion of data as well the storage as from the storage perspective as well as the computation perspective. That is where the whole the concepts kind of like got a chance to like try it out. And definitely back in 2010, like one of the biggest discussions were Hadoop, like the data management system, like file system, which is one of the biggest discussions, and like people do kind of like had a good amount of like good amount of companies kind of like got a chance to like spun off, and now it is kind of getting consolidated um, more towards like just like taking for more of the cloud or like the open source. You could see a good amount of like techniques did get a chance to like open source, and definitely like like starting from H2O, which I could kind of like think of, and like many solutions out there are getting like open source in the 2020. That's one of the biggest transformation which I could which we could kind of like see as well. And definitely like the cost of computing is kind of like getting lesser like less expensive over the period of time, which is like more advantageous, and definitely more data than ever before. That's one of the 2020 which you could kind of see. Most of the I mean like now it is like finding the right problem than finding the right data would be my take, where we had seen people did get a chance to like capture good amount of data. You would find like let it be the churn prediction, or let it be buy till you die kind of technique. You would be in a position to like see a good amount of data, like engagement from the user and the data capture as well, which is kind of happening. And it's totally because of the digital transformation which had happened in the last decade, for the last 20 years, which I could kind of like think of. So like yeah, the AI transformation is what it's going to like take up for the next 20 for the next 5 years, which I could emphasize. So where this is happening, like thanks to our like a good amount of like customers, like close to like 200 220 like out of Fortune 500 companies use H2O.ai. 8 of the top 10 banks do use H2O.ai, and insurance companies, healthcare companies as well, kind of like use H2O, and this is kind of like helping us to like bring the community-driven, community-driven like solutions as well as like give the enterprise support through that. So that is where our interface with the community as well as one of the top companies is kind of like helping us to bring these kind of transformations. Starting with Citi, Wells Fargo, and like some of I mean like the where I kind of like interface. I didn't get a chance to like throw that logos here, but either or not, that's where the H2Os transformation we are kind of like empowering these companies here. And to how we partner, like definitely like the one way kind of like start is like we are kind of like guiding you through your AI journey. That's one of the way like discussing about the use cases, how you could deliver like or kind of like how you could kind of operationalize each of the machine learning models. We do kind of like take those efforts in helping you, though we kind of like are a product company, we do like get involved in your like deployment perspective as well when necessary, to make sure we kind of like move you, take you towards your AI journey in a more seamless way. And definitely like we have like close to like 12 13 Kaggle grandmasters out of the 150 like grandmasters, and like their expertise are kind of reflected through our product, through our discussions and the thoughts with regard to like the use cases, or like what would be the right way to like handle those expert advisors, like expert techniques which they are to deploy through the Kaggle tryouts. And the empathy, like empathy, what we mean by that is like the learnings from our customers, and definitely community. I mean like these questions, whatever you kind of like post, it is kind of like helping us as well, and like helping you in getting the answers, as well as we kind of like give a good amount of thought, so that we kind of like keep like making ourselves better, and like come back with a better answer would be my take. And likewise, like we do have like solutions and classes in Cloudera, as well as we have a good amount of like rather than COVID, but we do have a good amount of virtual meetups, like where 200,000 plus meetup members are there. They do attend, and likewise we kind of like can discuss about these, and definitely like right from the like the techniques, those are the tools, but either or the world-class support which we kind of like give, or with respect to technology, keeping ourselves like up like on the bleeding edge would be my take. And definitely like this is how we kind of like partner to make your company an AI company, which I could kind of like think about. And like these are the use cases which I thought it would be helpful for discuss on the fintech perspective, like where starting with the digital marketing, where we would be in a position to like see the like campaign effectiveness, and insurance underwriting. Definitely like that are close to like we have good amount of solutions or discussions with regard to like how we could kind of like bring close to like a 20 million year savings. This is like one of the ways where we had kind of like seen did contribute AI. Our models and our engagements did help them to bring those kind of savings. Definitely fraud detection, like where we had seen their regular model. I mean, our H2O.ai engagement and model did help them to deliver close to like a 2x effectiveness with respect to those identifications. But definitely like supply chain optimization, where we did get a chance to like work on that, on the planning time prediction, and definitely like with respect to this in the healthcare perspective, as we were discussing, with respect to the sepsis detection, we do kind of like improve the model, and increase the detection of sepsis by 10%. Depth scoring models, where it was kind of helpful in giving good amount of like reduction with respect to the debits, and like yeah, close to like 10 million savings per month. propensity to lease is another example, like another use case which we did get a chance to like work on, deliver. Definitely like bad credit prediction, more. And definitely like if you kind of like see model building or even like H2O's platform through the GLM, GVM, like XGBoost models, or through like AutoML, like it would be like more straightforward with respect to the model. And even like H2O for GPU, where even with respect to that is 50%, like we do optimize and like those nitty gritty things as well with respect to like model building techniques. And like definitely like we had seen where people did get a chance to like work on one specific model for a year, and like driverless AI, our product could like increase the accuracy, increase the AUC by 10 points, and it did deliver it within a day. So those sort of like stories which we do have with respect to like improvement with respect to the time, as well as how much we did kind of like help them through their AI journey through these solutions like customer churn, propensity release, and such. And like more on like specific to the finance, if we want to like put a pin on it, it would be like definitely like intelligent automation, forecasting for payroll, like where we did kind of like look forward for the like unstructured data, and help them like improve forecasting, pricing optimization, and financial crime and embezzlement. So like before we kind of like go to the like a discussion about the taking your AI journey, I'll take like 5 to 10 minutes of my time to showcase a driverless AI, so that I do have an example from the like the default payment next month. So this is like one of the Taiwanese data where like it is available in UCI repository. And the UCI repository, what I mean, like where the details of the data, if you kind of like see, is like this is like each of the IDs, one person, and what was the like whether they're gonna default their credit cards bill next month or not is the prediction. You could kind of like see default payment next month. It is true or false, and that's the information. And we so all the close to like 30,000 users. And with regard to the 30,000 users, what was their limit balance in their credit card? Like the sex, which is like 1 and 2, and maybe null as well, which is the gender, and education, like the levels. Those sort of informations are available in UCA, what these each of the levels stand for. But either or, it doesn't matter to us because we are kind of like yeah, I mean like from the data perspective, it is just a tryout, but it would be good to like decode, decipher. If you are kind of like specific to showcase this example to your business, it would be good to have those information there. And age is one another information. What was the payment for the last 6 months? What was the bill amount for the last 6 months? And whether they're gonna default next month or not. Where this person did default next month because he could see his bill amount is like 39133102 on the last 6 months, and he didn't get any. He didn't kind of like pay for with regard to it. So those are of informations like specific to the fintech, which I thought this would be a good, interesting use case for us to discuss today. And taking this data set, and let's go ahead and kind of like this is our driverless AI platform where we do have like options for the auto visualization. So it would be in a position to like create either how like how sparse or like how dense the data set it could be. It would be in a position to create the visualizations which would be interesting for you. There is a little bit of like smartness with regard to like what to show and what not to show. It is kind of like decided, and it provides the recommendations as well. So consider, let me kind of like show this to you. The outliers plot where the pay amount is like usually it would be zero because I think most of them didn't kind of like use like the ranges between that perspective, and these are the outliers which you could kind of like see. And one particular user having 48,000 like limits, the bill amount was kind of close to 62 with respect to those overlaps, and such kind of information we will be in a position to like decipher through the auto vis like yeah module here. And the correlation graph, I kind of like find it useful sometimes because where we want to like predict default payment next month and the death, actually both are kind of like the same. And the default, yeah, this is like it's more of the boolean, and here this is more of 0 and 1, I think. So that is why it could kind of like find the correlations with regard to it, and you could see the payment and bill amount, they are kind of like clustered together. Those sort of informations, more than eyeballing the data, those sort of like these visualizations would be helpful to like understand, get a grip of what the data set which you had got. And if you kind of go ahead and kind of like predict, the simplest thing is you can kind of like go ahead and select the default payment next month, and let's drop actually the other column which we can I did was trying it out, and it would be in a position to like try constant model, GLM, light GBM model, XGBoost model with the one fourth of the validation split, and the final model pipeline would be kind of ensemble of like the 8 models with the four CV, and it would be in a position to try out cross-validated categorical to numeric encoding, target encoding, like cat to original cluster target encoding frequency. So those sort of like those sort of feature engineering, it would be in a position to do. And to give a quick summary, like what are the other features which we kind of like have, you could kind of like see the right from the weight of evidence, like the default the I think weight of evidence is kind of an inspiration from the fintech, where it was like heavily used for the credit card defaults, and definitely even if you kind of have a good amount of NLP problems, you would be in a position to like try out like word based CNN models, by GRU models and such. Even if you kind of like have time series, you can kind of restrict with respect to the lags, how much it has to create and such. And with respect to the models, you could see XGBoost DAP models like GLM, decision trees, FTRL, TensorFlow, Light GBM. And yeah, those are like the models which are available, but you could also like bring your own model, which if time permits, like there are a good amount of like discussions available in YouTube. I recommend you to kind of go through it. It would be a good interesting thing to like see how the current model, whatever you had built, and how the driverless AI kind of performs, it competes, and if it kind of like sees a good amount of like disparate predictions, it tries to like ensemble it to get the better predictions. So those sort of interesting things which you could also like do by bring your own models. So that's it. I mean, so more or less, like it would be in a position to like you just selected the target column, and without it understands it's that as a classification, and it would be you can just go ahead and launch the experiment as simple as that, and it would be in a position to like it drops ID columns as it could see a good amount of cardinality with regard to it, and it would be in a position to create is checking for leakage, whether it could kind of like see any of the univariate like columns, it kind of contributes more, and definitely it would be in a position to like try out the models. And I did get a chance to like run an experiment before. Let's go ahead and review that. And you could see the final model is like the light GVM with 23 features, and it did get a chance to, let's see, create 278 features, and 23 were selected for the final model. So out of the 23 feature, 24 features it kind of had, which was a quick one because I didn't kind of bump up the accuracy of the time, which we'll discuss like if which the other videos and such, it would be worth checking it out, how you kind of get the best accurate model, and if the time and interpretability, how it plays with regard to like trying out more models per se, those sort of discussions. And so you could kind of like see what was the final model, and I think it did take how much time? Yeah, 5 minutes. 5 minutes to complete the whole experiment, where it did get a chance to uh, create 25 models, and this is like light GBM. Majority are light GBM, as it could kind of like find the best. This is a GLM model. It did try GLM with 24 features and such. And this is like the final model, where you could kind of like see there are like 4 models, which is 4 light GBM models, and start for prediction of the 011, the default payment, which we were kind of like, which I was kind of like showing. And you could see what was the features used in each of the models. You could see this is like the straightforward, no big fancy transformations was happening with respect to this particular model. It was a straight original features. So you can kind of like, yeah, this is where it kind of like, this within 2 hours of your time, you would be in a position to like understand the data and get a good predictive model out of it. And definitely, like the one thing which I was kind of talking about is like, operationalizing. Through operationalizing is both ways. So one is like where you kind of like have the best solution at with the very ease of deployment. The other one is like where you would be in a position to have a good documentation, how the model had been built, what was the feature used, what was the data used, and how it kind of got a chance to get the best predictions out of it. And that is where this Autodoc report would be useful. And so you could see like, with the it did get a chance to like, give the summary of the whole, it's like a 25-ish page document where it would be in a kind of like in a position to give an experiment overview, what was the data sampling technique used, and how was the final model, and what was the feature evolution. It would be in a position to like, provide all the sorts of information, what was the validation strategy, how the model had kind of like, did get a chance to like, fine tune, all the sorts of information it would be, and even with respect to the transformations as well. So those informations would be available for your documentation, where you can kind of like preserve this document, and it would be helpful for your future reference. What was a model in operation, and if you want to like, retrain the model, where you could kind of like see a good amount of shift with respect to the limit balance or any changes with respect to the data integrity. Like you could kind of like see there are like, two values, the min and max, which is like 1 and 2, and if there is a change, there is another information for 3, and you would be in a position to like, use whether this model would perform well or not. So those sort of decisions you could kind of like take through this document, as well as like, looking at some of the drifts. We kind of like, this is another module called Q drift, where that would be more helpful to like, have that in place to understand how the model is getting operationalized. So this operationalizing, we do stress good amount of our effort and time, so that you have a seamless like a way of like, plugging in your machine learning models into your environment, and like maintaining it, and like, maintaining, supporting it per se. So, and you kind of like at the end of the day, you would be in a position to like, have a downloadable Java scoring pipeline, like yeah, Mojo scoring pipeline, Python or R, where it is like a quick, easier deployment. Or even if you want to like, deploy locally, you would be in a position to like have your own REST server, and you can kind of like, do curl, or like do a quick request.get, and you would be in a position to get those predictions out of it pretty easily from the very same model which you had built here. Even Amazon Lambda, you would be in a position to like deploy it and maintain it there and such. So this is where this is what I want to like, emphasize, like what I mean by operationalizing it. And let's get back to the slides. So that I hope that example kind of like, gives a picture. Um, that gives a picture with regard to like, like with respect to the the default payment next month data set, and giving a scope on what we could kind of like, do with the driverless AI, and deploy a model within like, minutes, hours of it. So taking your AI journey, I mean, like this is more of like, conversational discussion. How like these are kind of like the top 5 generic, or like the template which we could kind of like, think about to empower, or like, help you with regard to like, bringing the models into production, or even like trusting the AI models, where I didn't get a chance to kind of go through the MLI piece, where you will be in a position to like understand each and every predictions, like the local interpretations of each of the predictions. So let's take credit card default. You would definitely, so, or acceptance or rejection, you would be in a position to like say it's because of the particular zip code that person is hailing from, or it's because of the particular like the job profile which he's hailing from, I'm rejecting that credit card. So that's that kind of like the decision to reject the credit card, or like accept the credit card based on that particular decision is up to you. But either or, the trust which you could kind of like get from these AI models, that you should definitely emphasize more than the variable importance, like a good amount of like sharply like interpreting the sharply values, or like interpreting like partial dependence plot, and like a good amount of techniques are available out there for you to like get the like build the trust with respect to each of the AI models, whatever they build. And definitely where the AI models are the decision makers moving future, but it is these kind of like like investing your time or using tool like driverless AI, or like even with respect to the open source, we do support Sharpie techniques available straightforward. It would be good to extract those information, extract those values, and build the trust, so that you are kind of confident with respect to the predictions and the decisions it's going to make for you. And so like the first one is definitely like definitely like getting the right people on the team, like just building the data culture. So data is definitely a team sport. So getting the right business leader, where he is kind of like want to take more data driven decisions, data scientist where he kind of understands that like he could operationalize these AI models, and data engineers as well, who would be definitely like helping the data scientist with respect to the munching, or definitely it would be the role of data scientist as well, wouldn't be surprised. So or like data engineers, data science, it's more of like the tag which would be helpful, but either or I've seen people who are calling proud to call themselves as a software engineer, do deploy one of the complex models and operationalize that one. So definitely the takeaway is like creating the data culture with the right business problem and the right technical acumen for building that one. And the next one is like those business leaders would be helpful for the data scientist, or like bringing squeezing the value out of the data, as well as by asking the right questions, like what would be the number of customers, like what would be the metric, what would be good to like predict, or like would be good to like bring that as a KPI for us to make the decisions. So that is where the first is like creating that data driven culture. Next one is like asking the right questions, and the third one is like, okay, once you kind of like have a question in place, a right question in place, definitely getting back to the community. Community, what we mean by this is like one of the good quotes which I could kind of think of. Future always has an ancient heart. So when you're kind of like thinking about the future, it's definitely you should spend time and effort to understand what had happened in the past. So past as such, like what is the like the community where like H2AI, or like any many other like what those platforms are available for you to like give a good amount of like insights and knowledge with regard to like what are the best practices. So that is where this community discussions, or like going through the blogs, or like going through the discussions, or like GitHub's repositories with regard to the solutions, that would be a good exercise. That would be a good exercise once you have found the right questions. And the fourth one is like the data and technology, like okay, you had got a chance to like understand the data, you got the chance to like ask the right questions, and the third one is like you got a grasp of like what is the best practices out there, and the fourth one is like how you're gonna like make the predictions, and like what are the technology which you need for you to answer that question, would be the next sort of discussion. And once you had got a chance to like did get a chance to like understand these four parts, where you are kind of confident with respect to your techniques and such, definitely you are like having you have to like the next important exercise would be the building the trust in your AI models by looking at the MLI explainability, or like going through like with respect to each of, or presenting it to the regulators. Definitely, like getting back regulators, or definitely like your business leaders. That is where you are kind of like, once you get the confidence through these sort of techniques, getting building the trust to the whole team would be the would be the closure to the whole exercise. So yeah, definitely, like as I said, data is a team sport with regard to the building the culture, and like having the business leaders, IT leaders would be the way to go, and asking the right questions. So definitely, like determining the problems you want to like solve with the right metrics. It should be what is the optimization which we want to like do it there, would be the take, and the communication, like the community part. It gives a major contribution, like it makes you a better data scientist by othering to the best practices through Kaggle, yeah, through blogs, as I mentioned before, and like the technology concentrations. What we mean, what I mean by that is, like is it like an open source, or like is it the open source solution is like strong enough for you to like deliver that kind of model, or is it the cloud? What is the data security which you want to like consider, or should be kind of like when you are having a complex question, should be kind of like go ahead and kind of like build it or buy it? What is the right what's the sweet spot? So those sort of decisions, it would be good to kind of like take with respect to that. And definitely, as I said, documentation, like explanation with the MLI documentation with regard to it, and the regulations, like definitely the regulations do come into consideration, and the humans, I mean, like, is the model doing the right thing would be your question. And so those sort of like dimensions help you to build the trust in the AI models. So how should this work? So definitely, like with regard to like the engagement cycle which we want to like which we do kind of like utilize here, is like the first step is like the data assessment piece. Like once you kind of like the data assessment, it kind of like helps you to like see, okay, what are the data sets which you kind of like have at your disposal, and getting the right places, like use case workshops. So from H2O's perspective, we are kind of like open to conduct workshops for your to discuss about the use cases with like Kaggle, yeah, with the H2O.ai experts, where we would be we had got a chance of immense exposure, like through the team, where we can kind of like find, once this kind of data is available, we understand the data. Like with that workshop, the output would be like finding the right use case where we could kind of like answer definitely. And the third step is like like accelerated model development through driverless AI. So definitely that is a 21-day free trial for this driverless AI, which I kind of like demoed before. It would be worth to like check it out. And the fourth step is like definitely the model deployment. The model deployment piece, yeah, like what, because we had seen like it could be a lot of different environments where you kind of like have the data and you want the model to be deployed. So like setting up the right efficient way through driverless AI, or like writing or like a quick wrapper around it, is where that's the way to like deliver that. And definitely like keeping a tab on like each of how much the revenue where it did get a chance to like these AI models did get a chance to like help deliver increase, or like there is a cost reduction. So those sort of goal setting is definitely like needed, so that we kind of like get the best out of this exercise. And so to with regard to the experts, I mean, like the 10% of the world's leading Kaggle grandmasters do work with H2O, and definitely like as thanks to the community-driven piece, as well as like where we are in the position to like get their insights with regard to through through blogs, through video blogs as well, where we kind of like get a good amount of backing from these experts around the world. And definitely, like, from H2O's AI perspective, like, these they are kind of like, the face of our company, and they are helping us to, like, make your AI transformation. And definitely their credentials speak before, with regard to these, like, the AI uh, platform. And our customer success stories, which I want to, like, this is where the use case and the discussions would be kind of like, helpful. So where, we had seen where, even with Wells Fargo, I mean, like, even one of the videos, right from the GLM models, the H2O3 platform, you would be in a position to, like, try out a quick, pretty faster, like, deployable model, even for the training as well as for the deployment. That's where it kind of, like, stands out. And with regard to the use cases where we had seen as, like, AML, anti-money laundering, predictive banking, or consumer 360, like getting the KYC of the customer, or like personalized banking, those sort of, like, use cases, we did get a chance to, like, deliver, like, contribute with Wells Fargo, and the with regard to the national. So with regard to the nationwide customer as well, we did get a chance to, like, look into the customer churn, where driverless AI models, H2O3 models are like utilized for these use cases. And for Capital One as well, like, we had seen AML again, like, customer 360, transaction based prediction, how successful was the transaction was, or like, consumer spending insights. Those sort of takes, which we did kind of have with Capital One, and with Franklin Templeton, like, customer sentiment, next best offer for the customer. So those sort of predictions were kind of helpful. It would be good to, like, check out our H2O.ai like blogs, as well as, like, the videos which we did get a chance to post for each of solutions here. With Synchrony, I mean, like, we did get a chance to, like, look for the matching higher value services, which is more optimal for that particular customer. And like, 74, yeah, the accounts do get processed because of the operationalizing, which I was stressing before. And like, overall, what H2O.ai offers is, like, with regard to the open source, we do have the H2O3 platform, which kind of, like, helps you to, like, we do have interface it through our Python, and there is also, like, the web UI, which is called H2O Flow. And this is open source, and like, people have, I mean, that we do provide enterprise support subscriptions as well on that one. And yeah, the target is more of, like, right from the Spark H2O, or the H2O3 open source platform. The target is for the data scientists, and where I mean, like, good amount of, I would be good amount of data scientists kind of, like, utilize the open source. And the H2O driverless AI platform, which is like the enterprise, like, license basis product, where which we were kind of, like, going through the demo. It's just like it does the automated feature engineering, building machine learning models, and it provides the interpretability piece as well. And the usage is like, it's more of a GUI, and we do provide the Python client as well, but the more emphasis is on the UI, where it is kind of like a quick one-click option for the enterprise data analyst, data scientist to, like, deploy the model in a very quick manner. And the last one, which I want to, like, have a quick talk, is like for the H2OQ platform, where it's the enterprise commercial software for creating your own AI apps. Where we do kind of, like, have the platform for you to, like, for the business analyst to, like, create, get the metrics, get the data, get the metrics, and have a quick turnaround with respect to, like, delivering those insights to your business leaders, or to the C-suite employees and such. So that's where the H2OQ kind of, like, stands out from the rest of the, like, products, where it was more oriented towards the data scientist. But H2OQ is more for the business analyst, for them to create a quick turnaround with respect to creating those KPIs. And it is more of, like, And we do provide the auto insight solution as well, where once the data is available, it would be in a position to create the insights with regard to the taking the time, sales into consideration, what would be the anomaly, kind of detects through the insights and such. It would be in a position to produce those visualizations and summarize that for you. That's Q platform, and I think the description is also available in our website. Please do go through that. So the challenges, I mean, having these products, I mean, the challenges which we kind of see with which we do digest from the market is more of the talent, the availability of the talent. This is where these community discussions, or going through these blogs would be kind of helpful, and definitely the time, because time is a more valuable thing, and it's monotonic. And with regard to it, definitely spending 1 year of time on developing and deploying machine learning models, we do kind of that is where the solutions like H2O AI is kind of helpful. But either or, having a quick turnaround with respect to ML is one of the challenges, and you either it would be good to make sure your time isn't wasted on one particular business use case and such, so that you have a quick turnaround. And the third one is whatever the insights which we produce, or whatever the models which we build, but getting the trust from the model or from the insights is more important. And even if there is a data quality issue, it would be good to understand where do we miss that particular data, so that it reflects the ground truth. Those sort of exercises would be kind of helpful from the data quality perspective. And definitely from the AI model perspective, like machine learning interpretability techniques would be totally helpful for as a good exercise to build the trust in these new decision makers. So yeah, the other one is as we kind of saw, it's there is a 21-day free trial with regard to the driverless AI, and I do recommend trying it out as a quick. And with regard to whatever the model data set you kind of have, it's easier to deploy in your site. And the top 10, I mean so I think I'm also running out of time, but I did get a chance to go through a good amount of spending time on the driverless AI. I think I can take questions now.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sai, for going over so much content in great detail. Wonderful. Well, thank you, Sai, for taking the time and doing a great presentation. I'd also like to thank everybody who joined us today. The presentation slides and the recording will be sent out in an email shortly. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.
Thanks. Thanks for your time, people. Thank you so much.